friend.
So he's going to sit with us.
Yes, when he's done.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, awesome. I hope we have a slight postprandial glucose level post-lunch, but I can see the energy in the room. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming in. And I have the pleasure to welcome you today to the 2024 Sozosei Summit to Decriminalize Mental Illness. My name is Tarek Rabah, and I am honored to serve on the Sozosei Board Foundation and to be the president and CEO of Otsuka Pharmaceuticals in North America. As you all know, the focus of the Sozosei Foundation is to decriminalize mental illness. We work in collaboration with all of you to increase access to mental health care so that we can eliminate the inappropriate use of jails and prisons for the diagnosis and treatment of mental illness. Since our launch in 2019, thanks in large part to the people and organizations in this room, we have seen a great deal of progress toward our goal. And this is evidenced by a number of milestones and achievements that I would like to be able to list them. I have the pleasure actually to list them. First, it's the advancements in the implementation and enforcement of the Mental Health and Addiction Parity Act, thanks to organizations like Inseparable, the Kennedy Forum, Legal Action Center, NAMI, RA International, the Path Forward, NCQA, and the Healthy Minds Policy Institute. It's also evidenced by the significant improvements in the rollout and operation of 988, thanks to the University of Chicago Health Lab, the National Association of Counties, and the Meadows Mental Health Policy Institute. It's also evidenced by the catalytic conversations illuminating the injustice of criminalizing mental illness that are happening across journalistic platforms like Mindsight News and the podcast Trade-Offs, as well as through the arts at organizations like the Returning Artists Guild and documentaries that are in progress like Committed and Crime and Punishment in America. Grassroots and advocacy efforts to decriminalize mental illness, like the work of 1 million madly motivated moms, the Confess Project, the Drug Policy Alliance, and the National Center for State Courts. It's also evidenced by promising efforts in states, cities, and counties across the nation that exemplify data-driven practices to decriminalize mental illness, and led by organizations like the APA Foundation, Camden Coalition, the Corporation for Supportive Housing, Miami Center for Mental Health and Recovery, 115, Foundation for Appalachian Kentucky, University of Alabama Southern Behavioral Law Center, the University of Washington's Center for Mental Health Policy and the Law, and One Voice Mississippi. And last but certainly not least, the transformative litigation led by the Baseline Center for Mental Health Law and Children's Rights that is bringing the power of the Americans with Disabilities Act to bear on the fight to decriminalize mental illness and enforcing regulations to help ensure all children have access to mental health care. I know this was a long list, but I was keen to ensure, and I had the pleasure to actually be able to talk about all this progress in such a short time. Absolutely delighted and be honored to be part of this important organization. It should not and be able to partner with all of you. And of course, it should not be a surprise to you that the organizations I'm mentioning are all current Sozosei Foundation grantee partners, many of whom are with us in the summit. Our grantee partners are part of the brilliant mosaic that makes up the collective power in this room. I am confident that we can and will continue to build upon this progress. And I thank you all for joining us and being part of this collaborative effort to decriminalize mental illness. And I am now very honored to turn it over to our board chair, Dr. Bill Carson. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. I won't go to my remarks without saying this is a lot of people. It's very exciting. We've always had great attendance at our summits, but this is really lovely to see so many new faces and definitely familiar faces. Good afternoon and welcome to the 4th Sozosei Summit to Decriminalize Mental Illness. My name is Bill Carson and I am the chairman of the board. We are a young organization, yet despite our youth, and with thanks to the members of the board, the entire Sozosei Foundation team, and all of you, we have made great strides towards our shared goal of decriminalizing mental illness. Of course, there is more to be done. There's always more to be done when we're working with a problem as entrenched as the criminalization of mental illness. But the complexity of the issue does not stop us. To the contrary, it galvanizes us to remain curious and creative, to be optimistic but reasonable, to take calculated and data-driven risk, and to continue to iterate until we can move successfully forward. As a solution-agnostic philanthropy, we pride ourselves in not having all the answers. That's the purpose of this convening and all of our convenings, to crowdsource, consider, pressure test, and ultimately to act. As I've said at past summits, this event by design is a big tent. We believe that solutions are not housed with the some, but with the many, and that by coming together regularly, we will advance solutions more effectively than when we work in isolation. During the next 2 days, we hope all of you feel energized, curious, and perhaps even a bit uncomfortable, as we do not shy away from difficult conversations. When the summit concludes, we hope you will, as always, share your input with us so that we can continue to design this convening with you all in mind. Thank you again for joining us, and thank you all for doing what you do to decriminalize mental illness. I will turn it over now to our Executive Director, Melissa Beck.
Lovely. Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Melissa Beck, and I'm the Executive Director of the Sozosei Foundation. As many of you know, Sozosei means creativity in Japanese, and we continue to meet here at the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts because we are surrounded by art. Creativity, we hope, will inspire you as you work together during these next 2 days, as you think differently about your work and question all of your assumptions. We are very lucky over the next 2 days to have the talent and speakers whose pictures you see before you. All of the speakers are listed in your program, all of their biographical statements and more. And I want to thank each and every speaker who has traveled to be here with us today and tomorrow. We also owe a debt of gratitude to our wonderful volunteers from Otsuka, most of whom, if my glasses are working properly, and I think they are standing on the back wall with green lanyards. If you need anything during the event, please feel free to ask them. They are here to help. And again, thank you so much, Otsuka people, for taking time and bringing your talent to the Sozosei Foundation. We have an active life on social media. And so I'd like to encourage you both to follow us on social media. And if you can do it, you can bring up your phone and actually scan this QR code. But if you don't want to stress yourself, you can also simply take out your program and you will find the QR codes there. And if that feels like too much, you can simply turn your name tag around. We've been inspired by the QR code. And those are the places so far that you can find it. Although, not to ruin the surprise, you might also see one on your coaster this evening at dinner. Why are we doing this push? Because, as we all know, many of us spend a lot of time on social media, and it's where many ideas are communicated. And we're using our voice on our social media platform to build a world where mental that was not my fault, just in case anyone was wondering, we're building a world where mental illness is not criminalized. And we need your help. We need you to use your voices, to amplify our voice, and to use your own voice and to be in conversation with us. One of the most important QR codes that you will have with you on the different places that I mentioned is a QR code for the After Summit survey. Your input helps us to design this event. And so it's really important to us that you share all of your thoughts. One of the big changes you'll see in your program and on the agenda is that tomorrow we've dedicated time for action tracks. We did that in response to your feedback that you wanted more time in community with one another to digest what you've learned, to share additional thoughts with the foundation. And so please view tomorrow as your time. We have created it by 4 themes. You have self-selected through registration. I know someone's going to hear me say this and be unhappy, but I will say if you feel inspired to change your mind, you can. You have a bookmark with you that has how you registered. But again, if you're inspired and you're feeling energized to change your mind, please feel free to do so. And again, that is really your time, and I know you will make the best of it. Finally, there's another QR code for the post-summit survey, so you can't do that one yet. I want to pause here to give some gratitude that is really deeply deserved, of course, to our fabulous board of directors. You've heard from Tarek and Bill. You'll have the pleasure of hearing from Karen Galley this evening and from Mary Michael tomorrow. I also want to give a big thanks, heartfelt thanks to Karen Powell, without whom the foundation would not be moving as smoothly as it does, and this event wouldn't either. Again, to the volunteers, the wonderful team at Meeting Alliance, the tech crew behind the scenes, and our caterers who are going to keep us very happy and well fed. And again, a special thanks to all of you. Many familiar faces coming back. This was, as they say on Broadway, a very hot ticket. We were really pleased to see such interest, and again, really value all of you for being who you are and the hard work you do to share in our mission to build a world where mental illness is not a crime. So with that, I will thank Bill and Tarek for their welcome and get ready to welcome our first keynote. Thank you so much, gentlemen.